Hello, everybody. It is Misha Green, DC editor. I am ecstatic to be talking to Joy Fennell, who is the founder of All Black Everything Summit. But before she was even bringing us this amazing programming and a few days of All Black Everything, she has been in the game for a while, killing it, making waves and being highlighted. And she was just actually highlighted in Forbes. So we got a lot to talk to Joy about. She's from the DMV.
I sure am.
I have a lot in common. So, I got a lot to talk to Joy about. But you guys know the deal. Before we go live, we got to share the stream. So I'm going to do that, and I know that Joy is going to do the same. Let me make sure I turn down my audio so it's not an echo. All right, here we go. I should learn this by now. It never lets me tag the person during the share.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I can do it later. So that's what I'll do. I think it's because I'm also like logged into the Afros Facebook, and it's like, girl, you trying to do too much at once. Okay, so we are all shared and posted. I hope all those who are tuning in are doing the same. But we are good to go. How about you, Joy? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Alrighty. So, first of all, I acknowledge that while we are making do and making things work and having programming happening, we are still in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
In the middle of protests, etc. Just how are you doing? First of all, how are you feeling?
I am feeling great, actually. I mean, of course, we all have our ups and our downs going through this, so I feel like some days it's like I'm out the gate, I'm making it happen. And then some days I'm in binge watching Netflix, so yeah, so I'm just, so some days I'm great. One day out of the week or 2 days out the week, I'm chilling, and I'm not even gonna lie on that.
No, I think it's so important that you said that. I mean, you sort of have to do that for yourself and allow yourself to chill and give yourself moments. So, I want to give the people, before we get into the amazingness that is All Black Everything Summit, I first want to give the people just a little bit of a glimpse into your life and trajectory. I know you're from this area, representing Prince George's County.
Yeah.
Who you are and a little bit about your background that got you to the point of the second annual All Black Everything Summit.
Well, okay, so I am from Landover, Maryland.
Okay.
Yes, Bricey Road. We gotta shout that out, Bricey Road.
Okay, Bricey. So I totally show love.
Oh yes.
To middle school, right on Bricey Road.
Yes, right down the street. So yeah. So I started, but I was born in Virginia. I grew up a little bit of time also in Albany, Georgia, where a lot of my family is from. I was in college at the University of Maryland, College Park, majoring in African American Studies. Yes, I'm a Terp too, majoring in African American Studies. And during my time there, I wanted to take a break. I was writing, I was reading, I was just doing so much that I was becoming like burnt out. So, but I was like saying to myself, like, okay, if I take this break, which coincidentally was literally, I had one semester left to go and I wanted to take a break. Yeah. So I was saying to myself, if I take this break, what am I going to do? Like, I can't just sit at home and not do anything. I was like, my mom is not going to have that at all. So I said to myself, I need to get a job. And then if I get a job, I will be able to soften the blow of deciding not to go that last semester. And so I said to myself, okay, what can I do? I was in college. I was like, I don't have any skills. I don't know what to do. So one day I was walking past the Mac counter in Annapolis Mall, and they always look like they're having so much fun. That was like my safe haven, because at the time I was always kind of doing my makeup, I always had my lipstick on, and I said to myself, what if I did makeup? Now, this is somebody who never did makeup on anyone else but myself. And I said, well, what if I did makeup? So long story short, I went up and I asked for an application, and I wound up getting a job. So, I mean, it's more to the story than that. I'm kind of condensing it, but it's definitely more to the story than that. I had to do a makeup interview. I never did a makeup interview before or did makeup on anyone. I called my homegirl. It was like, hey, the night before, I was like, can you teach me one look to put on you? And I'm telling you, she went to the interview with me. I did her makeup. And I know looking back that it probably looked horrible, but I think it was something in me that they kind of liked, and they were like, you know what? Because at the end of the day, it is all about sales. And so they were like, we could teach you makeup, but sales is another thing. So I wound up getting a job, and I started doing makeup. And from there, I wound up saying to myself, I started looking at magazines, and I started seeing people's names in magazines. And I was like, well, how do you get your name in a magazine? And I really just started learning about building my portfolio, testing with photographers, all of that. And then I made the decision to relocate to New York. And so I relocated to Harlem, New York, because I really wanted to be in the fashion industry. And that's what happened. I mean, I do want to add, though, that I did wind up finishing my degree. So I don't want anyone to be like, well, she didn't go back. No, I went back and I finished. And then I went on up to New York, and I've been up there ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were sort of the lessons that you were able to gain from taking those risks? I mean, I think risk taking is so scary for people. I know it is at times.
Well, it was terrifying to me too. It wasn't, please know that this was not something that was an easy thing at all to do. It was definitely terrifying. It was definitely whoa, what happens if I fell at it? What happened? I was taking a big risk. I think the thing for me was that when I look back on my career is filled with asking questions. So I asked, I didn't go back to school that semester. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? Question number one. Then I walked past the Mac counter, and then I had to ask, are you guys hiring? And then I had to say to myself, well, how do you get your name in a magazine? How do you build a portfolio? So I had to seek the answers to these questions. So that was definitely what the path I was on. I was a seeker. I was like, let me find out how to do these things.
So when did you then, I mean, obviously sort of all of this shows that you were self-driven and an entrepreneur, but when did you decide to start the Joy in Beauty? Which is so cool. And I have to also quickly give a shout out, because one thing that I love about your sister and I, we always talk and catch up. And when she told me about you, my cousin, who is like my sister, her name is Joy. And she has a styling business called The Joy of Styling.
Oh,
and
wow.
So okay. Wonderful little thing in common. But anyway, I have to shout her. Oh, here she is. How are you?
I know, I see her.
Yes. But tell us, yes. So tell us how you got to the Joy in Beauty, and where that has sort of taken you along the road in your career.
So the Joy in Beauty came out of years of actually being in the industry, and also kind of seeing where the industry is going now. As we all know, a lot of makeup channels, a lot of influencers have been born out of social media, YouTube. And this is not a slight on them at all, because they definitely are there. People love what they do. I love what some of them do as well. But at the same time, I also felt like it was, I'm noticing this need for perfection in makeup. Everything needs to be flawless. You can't have anything. You have to cover everything. And my thing was, to me, what makes everyone perfect is our flaws.
Mm.
Like we are perfect. You know what I mean? Like no matter what anyone says, we are perfect, and we don't need to hide every single part of ourselves in order to be loved or to be liked. And it's like, and I think that sometimes I think we forget that, and especially as a Black woman, I feel like sometimes we go after this and we think like we have to be these perfect versions of ourselves when we're still growing and we're still learning, and we constantly get taught like if we're not perfect, then we don't deserve these things or we don't deserve love, or we don't deserve financial abundance, or we don't, and I'm like, and I got tired of this messaging that is getting thrown at us as women, but especially as Black women, like the only way we can get a man is if we are perfect as a 10. But then if you look at the other way around, sometimes I'm like, but you got a 10 on your arm. But I'm like, what is going, so that was to me, that was an inconsistent messaging that I'm starting to see everywhere. And I was like, I really want us to know, like, we're perfect. We deserve love. We deserve whatever we want out here.
Oh, I love that. Look, Joy came on here to preach this one. I really love that, and so inspired by that. So obviously, I'm sure in everything that you've been able to gather and inspire with the Joy and Beauty, that is taking you to All Black Everything Summit.
Yes.
About the summit, why you originally created, and about last year.
Okay, so actually, what's interesting is a lot of people think that the summit happened last year. It actually happened in May.
Was it just in May?
It was this year. Yes.
That's so crazy.
Yes.
That's so insane. Okay.
Yeah. So how it happened was that
2020 year, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it does feel like a year ago because we are in the Rona times where everything is kind of stood still. So everything does feel like a year ago. I was actually at home. The industry basically shut down because of everything going on. It was like you weren't allowed on set. You couldn't, do makeup. Everyone was at home. Everyone was trying to figure out like what, how, what's going on with our livelihood, basically. And so when I was at home, I was like, well, I'm at home and I don't know, I need to keep my sanity. So I started to do interviews as well on Instagram Live. And I was just interviewing people, like tastemakers in the industry. And then I started branching out to like lifestyle people. But then in the back of my head, I started wondering to myself, well, I do want to know what's happening to Black creativity at this point. Because what a lot of people don't realize, or a lot of people don't know, is that creatively, that's how a lot of Black people heal. Is that we use our hands to make something. We use our hands to make up someone's, like makeup. We use our hands just to get out whatever we're feeling. And so my thing is, at this point, I don't know about anybody else, but at that during the first part of the pandemic, I was kind of in a funk. Like at first it was like, okay, let's, make something happen. But then it was like, it became like a little bit of a funk. And so I was like, how are we channeling our energy right now? So that's how it happened.
Wow. And I hear you so much utilize background in African American studies and being able to sort of tie this in and realize that we are healers, Black people naturally are healers. We do a lot of things. Can you tell us why, what continues to sort of drive your passion in particular about African Americans and how you have brought them to at this point, lifelong career?
I'm sorry, you're say that one more time.
Am I breaking up a bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I was like, I don't know if it's me or if it was you. So
okay, sorry.
Okay. No worries.
Obviously, you are really tying in the background that you have in African American studies. Obviously, you talked about we are, as African Americans, are healers naturally, and obviously what you do is a healing function. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've been able to incorporate your background, something that you almost,
Yeah.
in left, and then really have been able to tie that into a lifelong career in the beauty industry?
Well, one of the things for me, how can I tie my background in African American studies in with my makeup career? A lot of people don't. Well, when I first started, I've been in the makeup industry for about 20 years. So a lot of times I was literally the only Black person on set. And the type of industry that I wanted to go into was the fashion industry. So the fashion industry, it was definitely, I was the only Black person on set. It was no, like now you might, we're starting to make waves in certain parts of the industry. But back then it was no, like you are the only one. Every set I went to, I would always be the only one. And it was definitely not something that I ever really, ever liked. I'm like, no, like let's find a way to bring in more people, incorporate more people. So that was so for me, I wanted to utilize my skills in African American studies and also bring that into the fashion industry and see how to open up more of the doors for everyone else to come in. And so even if it was me like using a Black person as my assistant on set, or even like bringing in hair or something like that to where we could definitely open more doors, I was all for it. And the thing is, like, I just didn't believe in that, because I've had some instances where people have said some things out their mouths, and and I've had to kind of like go full PG County on them.
Okay. Really is
yeah. So, but I mean, like, of course, I definitely, still needed to keep a level of decorum. But at the same time, it was like, no, I'm not accepting that. Like, because the thing that makes me the most upset about a lot of things that are going on out here is that we're always expected to show up for everyone else's events, like, or when I come to set, I'm expected to make sure that I have foundation in my kit for people that don't look like me, but they aren't expected to do the same for us. And that to me is a big problem. I don't like that at all. And I want that to change. Like, even for like All Black Everything Summit, a lot of people were like, well, I can't come. Well, why can't you? You can come. Because why? Because I always have to go to your event. So it's okay. You come to ours and learn about us as well. Like, no, like, don't, like, I'm not into that. Well, no, it's for you guys. No, you need to be in here too, listening to these conversations as well.
And I love that you mentioned that empowerment and the fact that sometimes it lacks in the community. I definitely want to go back and talk about the lack of representation in beauty standards, but I know that there are people tuning in and asking us questions, and thank you for those who are already doing so and saying hello. This is right about the time in which you're able to drop it into the comment section, and I'll try to get to you before the end of the stream. I also just want to ask Joy, though, to tell us a little bit about more what we can expect October 21st to the 23rd.
Yes. So, what I just realized is that I didn't fully finish answering the questions of how All Black Everything Summit came about.
Okay.
I want to do that, and I want to segue into what to expect for the second one. Okay. So after everything happened with the pandemic, I was doing my Instagram lives. I wanted to then start seeing like, okay, well, how are Black people dealing with this? Because a lot of this was a lot of the economic strife is gonna affect us disproportionately. And so I wanted to know, how can we combat that, especially as creative people? Because a lot of us, number one, don't think we can make careers or make a living off of our creative talents. A lot of us also, what I also realized is that a lot of us weren't able to really take advantage of these programs, these government programs during the beginning of everything, because a lot of our businesses aren't, they're scotch taped together. Like, let's be real, like they, like a lot, and I'm not even going to say everyone else's, because I was also functioning in that way too. So my thing is, let's see how we can come out on top after the doors reopen. That was my whole thing, was that this is actually an opportunity. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, 2020 this, 2020 that. 2020 is an opportunity for us to level the playing field. And so that is honestly what brought on the African American, All Black Everything Summit. I'm like all over the place. All Black Everything Summit. Like, that is what actually brought on the summit, was that I wanted us to stop going into this headspace of woe is me. Get up and do something about it. So that is when it started. And then that's when I was like, well, I want to have a summit. And I was like, and I want it to be 3 days. And everyone was like, you want to do what? When? And I was like, oh yeah, in 2 weeks. And they were like, like what? And so I was just like, yeah. So then after I started planning it and putting it together, then I was like, okay, this is a lot of work, you know?
Yeah.
But we made it happen, and it actually was a really big success. And so now we're doing part 2. So that is the 21st through the 23rd. And I'm really excited because it's all about creativity. It's all about motivation, inspiration, but also like getting the tools that you need to succeed in any level of your business.
That is so, so awesome. And will there be speakers, panels?
Yes.
Can you give us little hints into what we can expect?
Yeah, so we have panels. We have keynote speakers. We have fireside chats. So some of the people that we have secured as panelists are AJ Crimson. We have Ebony Davis. She's going to be a keynote speaker. And if you guys don't know Ebony Davis, please definitely Google her. She is very outspoken, and she's like an activist. I love it. We also have Fee Noel. She's going to be in conversation with Constance White, who is a very world-renowned fashion editor. And if you don't know Fee Noel's work, you definitely, her designs are amazing. She is definitely one to watch. She is killing the game. We also have Atasha Jordan. She's an amazing photographer. So it's just, it's a meeting of the minds. And we're all in this to discuss, like, and the thing is, like, I want, just like in the first one, real conversations, because what I see in a lot of things is that you get a little trickle, you know. But my thing is, if we're going to have the conversation, we're going to have full conversations. We're not going to cut corners on any of it. So let's throw it all on the table and get down to it.
I love it. I love it. And it sounds like it's a really great networking opportunity.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they came, they were in the chat. Like last time, they were in the chats. Everyone was like, it was just a good time. Everyone's having a lot of fun. Everyone was connecting in the chats. And I really, like, before it was an idea, we didn't have a YouTube station. We didn't have a website. We didn't have an Instagram. Like, now it's like, I'm really putting some effort into it. So now we have a website, we have a YouTube channel, we have an Instagram, we have a Facebook page, we have, so yeah. So I'm really like trying to make it legit. And that was the whole thing, is like really legitimizing our businesses.
That is so amazing. And again, I just want to shout everybody who is tuning in and saying hello and chiming in and just completely showing us so much love and support as we are in this interview. Thank you. And guys, remember to share. Sharing is caring, and we don't save this information for ourselves and hog it for ourselves. We want to make sure that our community knows about it, especially because it's All Black Everything Summit. We need our whole community to know about it.
Yes. But also know, like our whole community needs to know about it, but also people that hire us need to know about it, or people also that want to learn and understand more about what we go through. They need to know about it too. So education all around, because I feel like through education is one of the ways in which we can break down a lot of things going on in this country.
So I know you talked about the fact that you've seen a lot of, for lack of a better word, racism and prejudice within the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Not seeing, not seeing yourself represented on sets, not white makeup artists not having foundation for Black models and actors, etc. In fact, we had the most recent Sports Illustrated swimsuit winner on the show a few months ago, and she talked about going on set still and not having her foundation color. I'm just curious, one, have you seen improvement in your over 20-year career? But two, what does it take? Does it take more summits like this? What does it take to really have change within the industry?
Well, I definitely have seen improvement, but also let's see how we can actually measure that word. Like is that real improvement, or is it because I just see that one person that is able to do it? A lot of people on set, and I think the thing that really bothers me is that it's this level of complacency where a lot of artists are like, well, I don't know how to do it, I'm nervous. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know how to do your skin tone, but I had to do it because that was a standard. I had to do it. So my thing is, that's not okay anymore. Like it was never okay, but it's definitely not okay, especially now during social media time. Like you're going to get caught out. So it's like, do you move from a place of fear, or can you just go ahead and just make it happen now so that you don't have to go through that being dragged? Because we all know cancel culture is out here. So I'm, like how are you, what place are you going to move from? Move from a place now where you're going to start trying to educate yourself before the mistake happens, And so I feel like I definitely have seen some improvement. Is that, like some means minute, like so we still have a ways to go. I do feel like people need to in order to really make a lasting change, because one of the things I saw recently is, of course, what BLM, you saw a lot of companies putting out statements, a lot of companies being like, we're for the community and everything, appreciate it. However, now it's starting to wane. You're starting to see it die down. You're starting to see everyone starting to put those blinders on again and act like it doesn't exist. And so my thing is, we have to accept that is going to happen. We have to accept that that's going to happen, but that should not take us off of our mission. And our mission is to create real long-term change. And some people are going to be in it for the short term. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but we're here for the long haul. And so for me, it's like we need to keep on going forward, regardless of whether or not. I think we need to deal in reality. And the reality of the situation is a lot of the stuff out here, we're going to have to create ourselves. And like I always tell people, I use Issa Rae's name as a verb. We have to go out and Issa Rae it.
I love it.
You have to go out and build it yourself, because sometimes people do not see your vision, and you cannot spend all your time trying to get them to see your vision. Sometimes you just got to go out there and make it. And then that's when all the people who didn't see it before are now like, oh, you were my homegirl. Oh, I always believed in you. Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, okay. But now it is what it is. Like, yes, Issa Rae it, for real. Like, yeah.
I am stealing that. I absolutely love it, but I will give you your props every time you say it. I love it. You are so inspiring. I have to ask, any advice for somebody who, like you, knows they want to do something, know they want to make a change in this moment where they can't do much outside the house? Advice for how they can take that step forward and live into their truth?
Well, I mean, not being able to go out the house sometimes might be the best thing, because you're like, you are forced to deal with the truth. The truth is you can't go out the house. So now your back is up against the wall. How are you going to create with that? So now it's up to you to really say to yourself, okay, this is what I want. And now let's go out and get the tools to make that happen. Whether it be education through some of these apps out here where you can take classes all day long. You can create, that's another thing. I mean, I feel like that is one of the main things is that, create something where it won't need your physical presence every day, like that is one of the things I feel like Rona is definitely kind of brought to our attention, is that we need to be prepared, and we need to know and make these different streams of income so that we're not forced to only have one stream. So once that one stream goes down, we go down. Like, let's find other ways of streams of income to make that happen.
Oh my goodness, guys. Joy Fennell has been in the house giving some advice, some words, and preaching to us and inspiring us. All Black Everything Summit, October 21st through the 23rd. Tell the people how they can follow you and be involved and participate.
Yeah, so All Black Everything Summit is the website, allblackeverythingsummit.com. You see it came up. And then also that's the Instagram, also the Facebook page. You can go to All Black Everything Summit, and it will lead, if you want to attend, it will lead you to the Eventbrite page where you can sign up. It is pay what you can, because I don't want any barriers to anyone coming. So I just wanted, I want us all to stay inspired and for all of us to heal. One of the mission of All Black Everything Summit is to heal generational trauma with generational abundance.
Heal generational trauma with generational abundance. I love that. Thank you so much. You have to come back on Afro Live.
Yes, I would love to. I would love to. Thank you so much. You were so amazing interviewer.
Well, thank you. I definitely am just so intrigued by everything you're doing, and I know the people are out there as well. So we all gotta have to Issa Rae it.
Yes, Issa Rae it. Seriously, yes. Issa Rae it.
Yes. Thank you so much, Joy.
You're welcome. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for having me.